One dog could smell gold where others saw only dirt. But his gift made him a target. They called him Nugget, and the men who wanted his secret were willing to kill for it. Colorado Territory, 1879. The mining camp sprawled across the valley like a wound in the earth. Tents clustered between rocky outcrops. Smoke rose from 100 fires. Men worked claims from dawn until their hands bled. Henry sat outside his canvas shelter, watching Nugget pace the perimeter. The dog stopped every few yards, sniffed, moved on. A mixed breed with a cattle dog's stocky build and a border collie's intense focus. Tan and black coat dusty from the day's work. 4 years old, but wise beyond his years. Scarred left ear from a past Henry didn't know. Brown eyes that seemed to see through stone itself. Right now, those eyes tracked something the prospector couldn't detect. Henry had found Nugget 2 months ago, half-starved near an abandoned claim. The dog had walked directly to a spot Henry had searched 3 times. Started digging. 10 minutes later, Henry held a nugget the size of his thumb. That was the first time, not the last. Morning sun painted the rocks orange. Henry followed Nugget up the creek bed. The dog moved with purpose, not wandering, hunting. They'd worked together every day since that first find. Henry learned to read the signals. The way Nugget's nose twitched, how his pace changed, when he circled back to confirm a scent. Other miners noticed their success. Questions came with suspicious eyes. Henry kept his answers vague. Lucky streak, good timing, random chance. But luck didn't explain 6 major finds in 8 weeks. Nugget stopped beside a boulder, pawed at loose gravel. Henry grabbed his pan and shovel, started working the spot. 3rd scoop brought color. 4th brought more. By noon, Henry had enough dust to buy supplies for a month. Nugget sat nearby, tongue lolling, calm, like finding gold was just another day's work. The saloon buzzed with evening noise. Henry bought beans and coffee at the supply store, kept his gold pouch hidden. A hand grabbed his shoulder, turned him around. Clayton owned 3 claims downstream. Cold blue eyes, angular face, black hat pulled low. Leather vest over dirty white shirt. 30 pounds heavier than Henry, 10 years meaner. Heard you made another strike? Clayton's breath smelled like whiskey. Henry shrugged. Small find, nothing special. That's 5 times this month, maybe 6. Clayton stepped closer. How's a greenhorn like you finding gold my crew can't? Persistence, hard work, or something else? Clayton glanced toward the window. Nugget waited outside, tied to the hitching post. That dog of yours? He's always there when you strike, ain't he? Henry's stomach tightened. He's just a dog. Maybe, or maybe he's got a nose for more than rabbits. Clayton leaned in. I'll give you $50 for him, right now. He's not for sale. Everything's for sale at the right price. 100. Henry left the saloon fast. United Nugget. They walked through shadows between tents. Voices carried on the wind. Rumors spread like wildfire in mining camps. A dog that could smell gold, worth more than any claim. Henry cursed his luck. Should have been more careful. Should have spread out their finds, made them look random. Nugget growled low, stopped walking. 3 men stepped from behind a supply wagon. Clayton in front, 2 others flanking him. rough-looking prospectors. One carried a rifle, the other had a knife on his belt. "Think about my offer, Henry." Clayton's voice stayed calm. Too calm. "That dog's gonna make someone rich. Question is who? You can walk away with gold in your pocket, or we take him anyway, and you got nothing but regrets." Henry's hand moved to his revolver. "Touch him and You'll what? Shoot 3 men in front of witnesses?" Clayton smiled. "Be smart. Take the money." Nugget lunged forward, not attacking, warning, teeth visible in a fierce bark. No contact made. The rifleman stumbled backward, nearly dropped his weapon. Clayton held his ground, but his jaw tightened. Henry used the moment. "Back away, now." His revolver cleared the holster. Hammer clicked back. "This dog saved my life. He's not merchandise." "You're making a mistake." Clayton's voice went flat, dead. "Could have been partners. Now you're just a problem waiting for a solution." The 3 men backed into darkness, but their eyes promised this wasn't finished. Henry knew what came next. Men like Clayton didn't take no for an answer. They took what they wanted, when nobody was looking. He had to move fast, get Nuggets somewhere safe, somewhere far from Colorado's gold fields. Henry packed by moonlight. Bedroll, supplies, gold dust divided into 3 pouches, hidden in different places. Nugget watched from the tent entrance, alert, reading his owner's tension. They couldn't stay here. Clayton would come back with more men, or wait until Henry rode out alone, a bullet from cover. Then they'd take Nugget anyway. The dog whined softly, sensing danger even if he didn't understand the details. Henry knelt beside him, scratched behind the scarred ear. "I know, boy. We're leaving." But leaving meant abandoning the claim. Everything Henry worked for. 6 months of back-breaking labor. For what? To run? To let Clayton win? His jaw clenched. Maybe there was another way. If Clayton wanted Nugget's ability, Henry could use that greed against him, set a trap. But traps were dangerous. One wrong move, and they'd both be dead. The dog whined softly, sensing danger, even if he didn't understand the details. Henry knelt beside him, scratched behind the scarred ear. "I know, boy. We're leaving." Dawn broke cold and gray. Henry walked into camp instead of out, Nugget at his side. Men stared as they passed. Word traveled fast. Everyone knew about last night's confrontation, about Clayton's offer. Henry found the big prospector at his claim. 3 workers shoveling gravel. Clayton looked up. Surprise flickered across his face. "Changed your mind?" "Got a proposition." Henry kept his voice steady. "You want to know if Nugget can really smell gold. I'll prove it. Tomorrow. Public demonstration. You pick the spot. He finds gold, you pay me $500. He fails, you get him free." Clayton's eyes narrowed, suspicious. "What's the catch?" "No catch, just terms. You don't touch him until after the test. And when he succeeds, you leave us alone, forever." Silence stretched between them. Clayton was thinking, calculating. Finally, he smiled, sharp. "Deal. Tomorrow noon, North Ridge. I'll bring witnesses." Henry nodded, walked away before his nerve broke. He'd just bet everything on Nugget's gift, and on a plan that could get them both killed. Henry spent the afternoon preparing. Not the demonstration,
The escape. He studied the North Ridge from camp. Steep on one side, dense pine forest on the other. Multiple paths down. If things went wrong, he needed exits. Nugget rested in the tent's shade, conserving energy. The dog didn't know what tomorrow brought, but Henry did. Clayton wouldn't honor any deal. The demonstration was a setup, a way to get Henry and Nugget isolated, away from witnesses who might ask questions. Henry cleaned his revolver, checked ammunition. 6 rounds, against how many men? Clayton would bring his crew, maybe others, men who'd split the profit from a gold-finding dog. Henry's hands steadied as he worked. Fear had burned away, left only cold calculation. He'd survive this. They both would, or neither would.
Night brought visitors. Thomas, an older prospector from the southern claims, lean, weathered face, gray beard, kind eyes that had seen too much. Heard about tomorrow. Thomas sat by Henry's fire uninvited. Heard you made a foolish bet. Calculated risk. Clayton don't calculate, he takes, you know that. Henry poked the fire. Sparks drifted upward. So I should run? Let him win? You should stay alive. Thomas pulled out a pipe, packed tobacco. That dog's special. I've seen it. Watched you both for weeks. He's got something nobody can explain. Worth protecting. I am protecting him. By walking into Clayton's trap? Thomas lit his pipe. Men like him don't play fair. Tomorrow won't be a demonstration. It'll be an ambush. Henry met the old man's eyes. I know.
Morning came too fast. Henry and Nugget reached North Ridge by 11, early, scouting terrain. The demonstration site sat in a natural amphitheater, rock walls on 3 sides, open ground in the middle, perfect for an audience. Also perfect for a trap. No cover, limited escape routes. Clayton had chosen well. Nugget sniffed the ground, ears forward, alert but not alarmed. Henry watched the forest edge, waiting. Noon approached. Voices echoed through the pines. Clayton appeared first, then his crew. 3, 4, 5 men. Too many for a simple demonstration. They spread out, casual, but Henry saw the pattern, blocking exits. Thomas was right. This was an ambush. Ready to prove your claim? Clayton's voice carried false cheer. A crowd gathered, 20 miners, maybe more, drawn by rumors, by the promise of something impossible. A dog that could smell gold. Henry stood center ground, Nugget beside him. Here's the test. You pick any spot within 100 yards. Nugget finds gold there, I win. He fails, you get him. Clayton grinned, walked a wide circle, studying ground, playing to the audience. Finally stopped at a rocky patch, far from the creek, away from obvious deposits. Here, if there's gold under these rocks, I'll eat my hat. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Unlikely spot. Henry looked at Nugget. The dog sat, calm, waiting for the command. Find it, boy. Nugget moved. The dog worked the area, methodical, nose down, reading scents invisible to human senses. He circled once, twice, returned to a spot between 2 large boulders, started digging, paws throwing gravel. Henry grabbed his pan, started working the dirt Nugget exposed. First pan showed nothing, second pan showed traces. Third pan brought color, real color, gold flakes glinting in afternoon sun. The crowd pressed closer. Voices rose in excitement. Clayton's face went dark. He hadn't expected this, hadn't believed it possible. But there it was, gold where no prospector would have looked, found by a dog in under 5 minutes. "That's $500 you owe me." Henry stood, dusted off his hands. "Plus your promise. Leave us alone." Clayton's jaw worked, silent. His crew shifted position, hands moving toward weapons.
"I don't think so." Clayton's voice dropped. Cold. Final. "See, the deal was he finds gold, you get paid. But who's to say you didn't salt this site, plant gold here yesterday?" Henry's blood ran cold. "There were witnesses. You picked the spot. Witnesses who want to believe in miracles. But I know better. This is a con, and I don't pay for cons." Clayton nodded. His crew moved in, surrounding Henry and Nugget. Rifles appeared. Not pointed, not yet, but ready. The crowd backed away. Nobody wanted to be part of what came next. Thomas caught Henry's eye, shook his head slightly. "Don't fight. Not here. Not now." But Henry didn't have a choice. They'd take Nugget, use him, work him to death finding their gold. He couldn't let that happen. The afternoon sun beat down on the amphitheater, heat radiating off the rocks. Sweat ran down Henry's back, not from temperature, from fear, from knowing he'd walked straight into this trap with his eyes open. Clayton's men spread wider, cutting off the forest path, the ridge path, every escape route Henry had scouted. They'd planned this perfectly, probably had it planned before Henry even made his proposition. The demonstration was just theater, a way to get Henry isolated and kill him legally. Self-defense. He attacked us first. Who'd question it? A failed prospector and his dog against 6 respected miners? The crowd would back Clayton's version. Had to. Speaking against him meant becoming the next target. Nugget sensed the danger, moved between Henry and Clayton's men. Defensive stance, teeth visible in a low growl. No aggression, just protection. Warning. The nearest man hesitated. "Easy, dog. Nobody needs to get hurt." "Stand down, Henry." Clayton's hand rested on his revolver. "Give me the dog. Walk away. You've got gold in your pocket already. Be satisfied." Henry's mind raced. 5 armed men, plus Clayton, against 1 prospector and a dog. Bad odds. Terrible odds. But running meant leaving Nugget. Fighting meant dying. He needed a third option, something unexpected, something that used Clayton's greed against him. Then he saw it, the fresh dirt Nugget had dug, the exposed gold deposit, small but visible, and Clayton's crew had seen it, seen proof that Nugget's gift was real, which meant they'd also seen the value, a dog worth more than any claim, worth more than Clayton was probably willing to share. Henry caught the eye of Clayton's rifleman, saw the hunger there, the calculation. That man wasn't thinking about loyalty. He was thinking about gold, about what he could do with a gold-finding dog of his own. And he wasn't the only one. Henry saw the same look on 2 other faces. Greed was Clayton's weapon, but greed cut both ways. It built empires and destroyed partnerships. Henry just needed to plant the right seed, let Clayton's crew turn on each other. Then, maybe, just maybe, he and Nugget could slip away while these vultures fought over the spoils. "You know what's interesting, Clayton?" Henry's voice carried across the amphitheater, loud, clear, making sure everyone heard.
This deposit Nugget found, it's not surface gold. It's deep vein. Probably runs 50 feet down, maybe more, worth thousands. Clayton's eyes narrowed. So? So your crew just watched him find it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes to locate what would have taken you months, maybe years. Henry turned slowly, making eye contact with each of Clayton's men. Makes you wonder, how many other veins are out there? How much gold could Nugget find in a week, a month? The rifleman shifted his weight, glanced at his companions. Henry saw the question forming. If Clayton gets the dog, does he share, or does he keep all that gold for himself? Shut up, Henry. Clayton's hand tightened on his revolver. But Henry pressed on. Had to. This was his only play. 6 men splitting one dog's findings? That's a lot of partners, lot of shares. Unless someone decides they'd rather not share at all. Silence fell heavy, tension crackling like lightning about to strike. Clayton's crew was thinking now, really thinking, about trust, about gold, about what happened to partners who became inconvenient. Henry had planted the seed. Now he watched it grow. One of Clayton's men stepped back slightly, creating distance, breaking the circle. Another followed. The trap was fracturing. Nobody's double-crossing nobody! Clayton's voice rose, defensive. We're partners, always have been. Until the stakes get high enough. Henry looked at Thomas in the crowd. The old prospector understood, started moving toward the forest edge. Casual, not running, just repositioning. Others noticed, started backing away too. When shooting started, nobody wanted to be caught in crossfire. Clayton saw his control slipping, his face flushed red, anger replacing calculation. Dangerous. Men made mistakes when angry. Last chance, Henry. The dog. Now. Can't do that. Henry's hand moved toward his revolver. Slow. Telegraph the movement. Make Clayton focus on him, not on Nugget. The dog remained still, watching, waiting for a signal only he and Henry understood. A whistle. 2 short notes. Meant run. Run fast and don't look back. Henry filled his lungs, ready. Then Thomas's voice cut through the tension. "Clayton, behind you!" Everyone turned. A rider appeared on the ridge. No, 2 riders, 3, coming fast, sun glinting off metal. Badges. The one in front wore a marshal star. Tall man, broad shoulders, gray hair under a black hat. Weathered face that had seen too many standoffs like this. Behind him rode 2 deputies, young, alert, hands near their weapons. The marshal stopped his horse 20 feet away, took in the scene. 6 armed men surrounding one prospector and a dog. Crowd of witnesses backing away. The story wrote itself. "Afternoon, gentlemen." The marshal's voice carried authority, natural, unforced. "Somebody want to tell me what's happening here?" Nobody spoke. Clayton's jaw worked, but no words came. His crew looked at the ground, at their boots, anywhere but at the lawman. Henry saw his chance, probably his only chance. "Marshal, my name's Henry. These men tried to steal my dog, surrounded us, threatened violence." "That's a lie," Clayton found his voice. "This man's running a con, salted a gold site. When I called him on it, he pulled his weapon." The marshal's eyes moved between them, reading, judging. "Lot of witnesses here. Anyone see Henry pull first?"
You know what's interesting, Clayton? Henry's voice carried across the amphitheater, loud, clear, making sure everyone heard. This deposit Nugget found, it's not surface gold. It's deep vein. Probably runs 50 feet down, maybe more. Worth thousands. Clayton's eyes narrowed. So, So your crew just watched him find it in 5 minutes. Makes you wonder, how many other veins are out there? How much gold could Nugget find in a week? Henry turned slowly, making eye contact with each of Clayton's men. The rifleman shifted his weight, glanced at his companions. Henry saw the question forming, if Clayton gets the dog, does he share? Shut up, Henry. Clayton's hand tightened on his revolver. But Henry pressed on. 6 men splitting 1 dog's findings. That's a lot of partners, unless someone decides they'd rather not share at all. Silence fell heavy. One of Clayton's men stepped back, breaking the circle. Another followed. The trap was fracturing. Clayton saw his control slipping, his face flushed red, anger replacing calculation. Last chance, Henry. The dog, now. Can't do that. Henry's hand moved toward his revolver, slow. Nugget remained still, watching, waiting for the whistle. 2 short notes meant run. Then Thomas's voice cut through the tension. Clayton, behind you! Everyone turned. A rider appeared on the ridge. No, 2 riders. 3. Coming fast, sun glinting off metal. Badges. The one in front wore a marshal's star. Tall man, broad shoulders, gray hair under a black hat. Behind him rode 2 deputies, young, alert. The marshal stopped his horse, took in the scene. 6 armed men surrounding 1 prospector and a dog. The story wrote itself. Afternoon, gentlemen. The marshal's voice carried authority. Somebody want to tell me what's happening here?
3 weeks later, Henry and Nugget reached California. The ranch sprawled across green hills. Cattle grazed in meadows. A river ran clear and cold. The owner, Samuel, read the marshal's letter, looked at Henry, at Nugget. You're hired. $70 a month plus room and board. Dog can sleep in the bunkhouse. We don't care what he can do, just that he's loyal, that you're honest. Henry shook the man's hand. We are, both of us. They settled in fast. Henry worked cattle, mended fences. Nugget herded livestock like he'd been born to it. No gold, no demonstrations, just simple work. Good work. 3 weeks later, Henry and Nugget reached California. The ranch sprawled across green hills. Cattle grazed in meadows. A river ran clear and cold. The owner, Samuel, read the marshal's letter, looked at Henry, at Nugget. You're hired. $70 a month plus room and board. Dog can sleep in the bunkhouse. We don't care what he can do, just that he's loyal, that you're honest. Henry shook the man's hand. We are, both of us. They settled in fast. Henry worked cattle, mended fences. Nugget herded livestock like he'd been born to it. No gold, no demonstrations, just simple work, good work. But sometimes, on quiet evenings, Henry watched Nugget sniff the ground, saw the dog's nose twitch, knew he'd found something, a deposit, a vein. Gold still called to Nugget, but Henry never asked him to dig, never used that gift again, because he'd learned the truth. Gold didn't bring happiness. It brought greed, violence, death. What mattered was sitting beside him right now, a loyal dog, a friend who'd risked everything. Some gifts were worth more than any treasure, and Henry finally understood that. The California sunset blazed orange and gold. Ironic, beautiful. Henry scratched Nugget's scarred ear. We made it, boy. We're home. Nugget's tail thumped against the porch. Content, safe, together. That was the real treasure, and no prospector could ever take it away.